So we heard from the Scotland camp earlier on with Shaban. We're going to head off to the England camp now. They're training, watching as we speak, is our England correspondent Faye Carruthers. Hi, Faye.
Hello, how you doing? I mean, you say training. Let's use that term a little bit loosely, I would say. It's exhibition training in front of a crowd of 500. I mean, Harry Kane's already been having piggybacks off of his teammates after they won. They were doing rondos over on my left-hand side a moment ago, and Declan Rice decided to ping a ball right a little bit too close to my head for my liking, so a bone to pick with him when we go to the media centre tomorrow. But lots of fun in front of a lovely crowd of local school children, about 500 of them, all screaming predominantly Harry Kane's name, and they're going to be, in about 10 minutes' time, getting autographs and goodie bags from the players as well.
Right. All eyes on Luke Shaw to see how he's looking. I mean, you said it was quite a low-intensity rondo, but still nice to see him out there and warming up.
He looked comfortable, actually. They were doing some stretching yoga moves before. They were then just doing some light stretches. But then he went over with the other side doing some rondos, and he was moving well, although, you know, not running, not sprinting. We're not seeing that. John Stones looks comfortable as well. He's another one that I've had a bit of an eye on to check how he is after he came off. We're told still precautionarily after the Iceland game for 45 minutes he was taken off then. But he looks all right as well, smiling, happy. And yeah, it's a happy camp, what we're seeing so far.
The comment from Gareth yesterday, I mean, a lot's been made of it on the back pages today, but it is interesting. He's basically saying if we don't win, I guess I'll be gone. So maybe it is the last chance. I think around half the national coaches leave after a tournament. That's the nature of international football. There is a feeling that maybe, I mean, there's no better time to go out having won it. You know, it doesn't get much better than that apart from a World Cup. You do kind of sense this is it for him, really.
It feels like it a little bit, but he's always kind of said that. But he's also said to the FA he doesn't want any talk about his future leading into this Euros. All the media obviously are going to be talking about it. That's our job. That's exactly what we do. But he doesn't want to field any questions about it, talk about it, other than he's fully focused on hopefully winning a European Championship with England. If he does that, whether he'll want to then take England into 2026 in USA, Mexico and Canada, that would be really interesting, bearing in mind the manner of the way they exited the World Cup in Qatar at the quarter-final stage against France. Despite putting in that fantastic performance, he might feel like he's got unfinished business. But let's get this tournament out of the way first, and that's really important. His contract is until December, so I think he'll make his final decision depending on how this tournament goes.
Vibe-wise, Faye, any hangover at all from the Iceland game?
No, not from what I'm seeing behind me or hearing behind me. Feels like it's the antics before the Iceland game.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. It's it was a warm-up game, Charlie. We've got to put it into the context that it needs to be put into. You know, ultimately you want to win every single game that you play, but there were other things around it that they needed to do. And actually, you know, and you would expect them to do this. It's kind of a PR line, really, when you think about it. It's focused their mind is the phrase that Gareth Southgate used, and he used it multiple times actually, both in the interview that he did with me and in his post-match press conference. And he also talked a lot about how, you know, they were managing minutes of certain players. There were injuries they had to deal with. There were combinations they were trying to work out. So, you know, I think what they found from that game is that there are holes in their prep that they're going to need to focus on this week ahead of the Serbia game on Sunday. And that can only be a good thing when you think about it, really, because it's shown they've got weaknesses. You want that a week before a tournament, don't you? You don't want that. You don't want to see that in the first game. And actually, if they'd have beaten Iceland, it might have masked and hidden a few things that, you know, they do need to focus on, and the press is one of those. You know, Stuart Pearce talks really well, and he said within the opening 10 minutes the press wasn't intense enough, and it wasn't. And they're going to have to be much better at that. They know that as well. So it's a really big week of training, and we'll see them training properly for 15 minutes tomorrow when they go back to their base camp, which is about 25-30 minutes away from here. And we'll see that tomorrow when we have open training in the morning of 15 minutes. Obviously, they'll close the doors before we get to see the good stuff. We'll see nothing tactically, as is always the case. But we might find out a little bit more about the camp that they're in. You know, Weimaraland is absolutely stunning, and they were familiarising themselves with their surroundings last night when they arrived around 7 p.m. local time. There's swimming pool, there's swimming pools, there's golf courses, there's all sorts. But what we all want to know is what fun stuff the FA have put in the camp to make sure that the players don't get bored, and I'm sure we'll start to find out some of those stories over the coming days.
Excellent. We'll have a chat about that tomorrow, Faye. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Faye.
It's our England correspondent, Faye Carruthers, there over in Germany, and of course England getting away on Sunday here on talkSPORT.
Paul Hawksby and Andy Jacobs, Monday to Friday afternoons 1 till 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.